look down, you're here until you die. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant, you can call him Chip, and today we are finishing the second drop of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, episodes 23 through 24 on the docket for today.
Mm-hmm. This is a scene I've been waiting to see animated for a bit, just because, like, the very first scene of episode 22, Time for Heaven, New Moon, New Priest, it's just a scene that I think is very funny.
Yeah. This episode, you can tell it's double stuffed because we do not have an OP or a recap. We just get in to, like, slumber party times.
Yeah. So
back in the 80s, Dio is crashing at Pucci's place. Like, where are Pucci's parents is the question I ask.
Yeah. Pucci ran away from his parents, got his own place because they disapproved of his 100-year-old vampire boyfriend.
You got a 15-year-old son, and he brings home Dio Brando. And he starts coming around the house more and more. At what point do you put your foot down?
Get this strangely hot man out of our house.
Son, it's my roof, it's my rules. Guests have to wear a shirt. Come on. You know how it works.
You know, I don't know Dio's upbringing or his background or anything, but I am very concerned about that scar that goes completely around his neck. Nothing good can come from that.
Yes, I see the diorama he made. He's very talented. That doesn't change the rules, Pucci.
You know, when I first
his parents
met Dio,
call him by his last name. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
When we first met Dio, we were willing to give him a shot and stuff, but like every time he smiles, I see those vampire fangs. I don't know if those are cosmetic or if that's just, but I don't like it. That young man Dio gives me bad vibes.
I asked if he wanted a Coke or something, and he responded, human blood? But anyway, he's talking about how much he fucking loves the Mona Lisa, wouldn't you know it?
Fuck yes.
It's 2022. All bad guys love the Mona Lisa. That's how it works.
Both Dio and Pucci are on the same bed. Dio's laying on his back, like one leg dangling off the side, reading this like book about the Louvre. And Pucci's just laying on his side reading some other book. And yeah, Dio's just, isn't it interesting that so many people go to the Louvre every day or every year? That just imagine how many people are drawn to the Louvre to look at the Mona Lisa. Whoa.
Now, he does say something that I think is very interesting in that art is like stands because it is a visual projection of your soul for others to observe and interact with.
Yeah.
I dig that. That is a fun thought. Thank you, Dio. Please die
cool.
now.
And so, like, Pucci hearing this goes like, oh, do you mean this is interesting just because of, like, that's a big number or whatever? And that's when Dio says, yeah, art is like a stand. Pucci's like, all right, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Are you saying they're literally stand users? And Dio goes like, yeah. And then he gets up and grabs Pucci by the wrist and like draws him closer. And he goes like, hey, why haven't you killed me yet? You have the perfect stand to do that. You could just pop my brain out of my head.
He like challenges Pucci to step up and betray him and seize the world to become king of the world.
Pucci's saying like, hey, the reason why I don't do that is because I have a lot of admiration for you. Also, I basically believe you're God.
Yeah.
He just
calls him the king of kings. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a Dioist. Thank you.
And then he says, I love you with the same reverence and passion as I love God. Like, and Dio goes, I'm going to take your hand and jab your fingers into my brain so that my CD pops out. What are you going to do about it now, buddy?
And Pucci does nothing. He does not seize this disc. And then Dio says, well, that's cool. I'm only putting you through all these tests and mind games because I'm afraid you're too good for me.
Yes.
Dio is an abusive boyfriend. Stop it. Stop
yes,
doing
he
this.
is. Okay, Dio has been in one other relationship where, that Giorno popped out of, but this is probably the tactic he does with everyone he's in a relationship with. But yeah, Dio, there's a pause where that disc is just hanging out and nothing happens, and Dio gets up off the bed, turns around, and says, he's very surprised to have met any humans that can put him this at ease. And then he's like, okay, I believe that you are going to become a noble priest one day. And you know what? I trust you so much. Here, when your fingers were in my head, you got something from my head in there. It ain't a disc. It's a bone.
It's a bone. It's his brain bone, not his butt bone.
It's technically his brain bone, although someone on Twitter from last week, I think, identified what bone that is. And it's a foot bone? It's a foot bone.
He's got feet on the brain, Who's to judge?
Yeah. It's getting more and more popular every day. Dio was ahead of the trend.
The last JoJo villain to be obsessed with the Mona Lisa was all about hands. He's taking it to the feet. Either way, it's phalanges, baby.
Yep.
Back in the present, it is time to watch Foo Fighters die screaming in agony again.
God,
fuck
damn it.
off! Stop it!
So yeah, again, her disc just lands on the ground. Pucci's like, hey, you got to go grab her disc so that we can, go, check out where Jolene
read
is.
Them memories. But then the radio that was part of their paramedic disguise starts crackling and talking at them. And as the rain starts to fall around them, Whitesnake recognizes this voice as weather report just a moment too late.
A big storm comes in. It just starts pouring rain. Fog and mist starts coming in. Whitesnake can't see more than a foot ahead of him. And this rain was enough to revive FF.
Yes. The torso chunk that was left behind by the ambulance is now ambulating, just crawling around on that one arm. Go, torso, go.
Yeah.
And so, under cover of this very thick fog, the slowly reconstituting Foo Fighters clacks rocks together.
Yes.
To reveal Pucci's identity via Morse code.
Yep. And Pucci immediately goes, fuck, that's Morse code. She just said my name in Morse code. No! No!
Oh boy. So Pucci collects himself, and he thinks about his philosophy of victory, which is that shame leads to helplessness, which is the source of defeat. He is Dark Yoda.
Yeah.
So by this point, the top half of Foo Fighters' fourth form has two arms and is in a cornfield where they find Weather Report.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Yes, because Weather Report's been out for a while, still recovering from the injuries from episode 11. Long time recovery. Same with Hermes.
He nearly exploded.
That's true. He nearly exploded.
So did Jolene, though, and you don't hear her complaining. Come on.
Yeah, but Foo Fighters and Weather Report have met up. Meanwhile, we've got Jolene and Anasui with the green baby. Anasui decides, hey, this is a time to brush my hand across Jolene's face and go hey, I've said it 13 fucking times now, but I'm way into you. Why is this baby chewing on my hair?
Jolene still does not get it and thinks he's offering to help her with something.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we realize the baby's got pica because it's eating hair, it's eating dirt. I'm sorry, your baby's fucked up.
I love that Anasui is just why is it eating my hair? Why is it doing that? And he puts it down and it puts something else in its mouth and it's why is it doing that? And it's just this is baby shit. Do you not know what a baby is? This isn't even weird green baby stuff it's doing. This is the most normal thing it's done.
Somebody has to do peekaboo in front of Anasui, see if he gets that at least.
Yeah, yeah. While that's happening, Anasui hears some of the grass and the weeds rustling. So, okay, get down. Who the fuck's coming? Oh, thank God it's just Foo Fighters. And
hooray! It's the buddies! Yay! So Foo Fighters, now once again possessing legs, gives the secret, no Morse code necessary. just spills the beans. And that's when Jolene gives Weather Report a great big hug, and Anasui again gets super jealous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is also when Foo Fighters heals Jolene's fucked up eyeball.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love how snippy Anasui gets, though, when he's like, what do those two think they're doing? And Foo Fighters says, hugging, dumbass.
They're just saying hi, calm down. Fuck.
And he replies, I know, that was rhetorical. Go separate them. We have a deal. Apparently, if you agree to witness someone's wedding, you also have to be their 100% wingman 24/7.
Yeah, regardless of how toxic you are.
He even calls them lowly plankton? Kill this man. No.
Yeah. Don't say that to Foo Fighters. They're the best.
This is my line. Like, you cannot disrespect Foo. After all of that, after everything they just went through, after everything I said on last week's episode, no. Anasui is dead to me. Fuck him.
Yeah. So Anasui gets up, points to the green baby, and goes, I want to kill the baby. Can we kill the baby now? I'm asking for your consent to kill this baby. Also, you too, Weather Report. We're making this decision as a family. Is this baby dying? Because I want it to be dead.
He does not ask for Foo Fighters' opinion baby killing.
Yeah, and also like when he starts describing like, hey, this baby is not our friend. This is not a normal baby. It's like this disgusting, horrible monster. It is lower than filth. It has no humanity. All this shit. And like while he's saying this, it's framed where you can see like between like the crook between his arm when he's got like his hand on his hip. It's just like Foo Fighters' face there. It's just like, are you fucking talking about me?
It's not a good relationship between him and anyone.
Yeah.
And that is when Weather Report punches straight through the chest of Anasui and then slaps the disc out of Foo Fighters, because that's not Weather Report. That's Whitesnake in disguise. Whitesnake has a camo mode.
Mm-hmm. I was just like, wait, is that part of Whitesnake's powers? But it's like, okay, one, he could just have a random stand disc that he's using to do that. And two, like his initial introduction, he made dream illusions. So just the idea of him making an illusion where he looks like someone else, sure, whatever. It's fine.
But yeah, I guess I'm getting my wish real quick, because Anasui is fucking dead.
Yeah, he arm all the way through the chest. Jolene gets chopped across like the her back, and also one of her arms gets cut off in the process.
The only one, and that's with having reaction. That's with being the third attack. So she had some warning, and that's the best she could do.
Whitesnake and Pucci are celebrating. They're so close to their goals. All they got to do is one last step with the green baby.
The green baby born from the release of the sacrifice of 36 heinous criminal souls.
Mm-hmm. But he's like, actually, before I do the stuff with the baby, you know what, Jolene? I really fucking hate you. I think I gotta like crush your skull in first, because you're gonna fuck something up if I leave you around for even a second.
Good luck. Better men than you have tried, all right? So he turns around to square off. But we see that Jolene has unspooled a whole mess of string from her disconnected arm to tangle around Pucci, and then hardens that string into handcuffs.
Yes.
And so she stands up and announces her intent to take back the daddy disc, the FF disc, and also take Pucci's life.
Mm-hmm. At the same time she makes those handcuffs, it also like reattaches her severed arm. Yeah, now it's like a close range handcuff fight, because she's just like pulling Pucci around by the handcuffs so she can do like big roundhouse kicks on him.
We've crossed the mid-episode point. It's one of the rare few where they don't give us a stand title card. But yeah, it's time for a pro wrestling chain match. Welcome to Florida. And Stone Free gets disked. Her stand is just barely poking out from her forehead. So one wrong move and it will be plucked from her. Oh no.
There's also a bit here where you can see Pucci just trying to yank the handcuffs off, but on top of, just having a handcuff around his wrist, there's thread extending from the handcuff that has sewn itself into his skin.
So while Jolene is like doing her tough talk business and telling Pucci just what she thinks of him and just what she's going to do, the wind kicks up and blows straight into Pucci's face. And like they're still outside. They're still in like the marshland with tall grasses. Mm-hmm. And it blows the grass into divided rows, which looks very cool.
It
and
sure
has no... like that doesn't set up anything about the terrain in the fight to come.
No, it's just cool looking.
It doesn't reveal that Weather Report really is here or anything. Like if this weather is his business, he's doing it from like hundreds of meters away, wherever he's still recovering from his injuries.
Yeah.
But it looks cool as shit.
It looks cool as shit. So Pucci starts this whole little speech of like, we both have handcuffs on, but who's really the one trapped here? Is it you or your brain disc is poking out? Think you're in the worst position here. And then starts talking about how swallows love to fly into like the sides of cliffs and shit and kill themselves by accident.
And this turns out to be one of Pucci's most legible metaphors, because he actually spells out what he means by this. See, swallows are so stupid because they don't get taught by their parents. They keep making the same mistakes generation after generation, and no swallow is smart enough to actually teach other swallows to not fly into shit. Like your idiot dad, who didn't tell you to just sit down and let Dio and Dio's best friends do what the fuck they want. So y'all just hurt yourselves rushing forward. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Right after that little speech, they both go in for a punch at each other, like at the same time.
Simultaneous left hooks, yes.
Mm-hmm. But Pucci's aiming for the disc. He just wants to knock her stand disc out. And he has a tiny bit of extra reach that Jolene doesn't. Because he has taken his tiny little crucifix and shoved it underneath his fingernail so that hopefully that extra little bit of reach from the crucifix will ding her disc out of her head.
And it works. It works. Stonefree.exe starts sliding out of the forehead slot, but it doesn't fall, as his Pucci's premature celebration is interrupted with a punch rush directly to the face.
Yes.
And he has to like get into a defensive stance and turtle up through an entire monologue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's just like, how the fuck is Jolene, how did she get me in this position? And, how am I suddenly on the defensive? And it's just like, oh, that's what she's doing. She's intimidating me. She intimidated me.
But this man is full of tricks and full of CDs, and he throws a very special one into the dying body of Anasui. It is, of course, Jolene's ultimate goal, her father's memories that will resurrect him from his comatose state.
Mm-hmm.
Because if a memory disk is inside of someone as they die, it dies. Memories don't survive, the person that holds him. That the person that holds them. They can only survive on archival media like this.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, I guess, precedent for this. Like, souls die when they're in a body that dies. See Doppio, for example.
Yeah.
So there is now a ticking clock, as you can see the bit of the CD that's sticking out of Anasui's body, just like slowly melting and crumbling into dust. Mm-hmm. And Pucci doesn't care because he's already memorized all the information he needs.
Yeah.
So what does Jolene do? She punches Father Pucci even harder.
Yeah, the whole time, like, leading up to this, where that punch rush was happening and Whitesnake's on the defensive, he's actually genuinely getting really fucked up. Like,
yes.
He even thinks, oh, fuck, Whitesnake can't actually do this head on. Like, Stone Free is way too strong. She punches him even harder and eventually decides, okay, fuck this, I gotta go get the disc. And she has to uncouple her handcuff to go after Anasui.
Leaving Pucci to go get that baby.
And this is when Pucci just starts walking towards the baby and says a whole mess of random words.
Yes. Yes, he just says a lot. I guess it's some sort of incantation. And one of the words he says a lot is beetle. He says beetle like 8 times, I swear.
Yeah, spiral stairs, the beetle, abandoned town, fig tart, beetle, the path to Dolorosa, beetle, singularity, Johto. That it's like an angel hydrangea beetle singularity. Yeah, it's just some
I need
weird
scissors
incantation.
61. Yeah, okay.
Yep. When he finishes like this weird incantation, the baby that was sleeping opens its eyes, and Pucci goes, "All right, next step." Digs White Snake's hand into his own hand to rip out a bone, which again looks like a foot bone.
This does make me recall that when Sports Maximum put the golden glowy on the Dio bone, it made Pucci's hand explode.
Yes. Yep.
Think back.
And so he rips this bone out of his hand, offers it to the green baby, who goes, nice bone, and chomps on it. And when he does, it causes the arm that is holding this bone to explode all the way up to the elbow, and all that's left is just his arm bone. And
the baby pulls Pucci, most of Pucci, I guess, into the bush.
Yeah, and Pucci's reaction to this whole part is 1, ow, and then 2, yeah. He literally shouts, "Hallelujah, beloved Dio."
So Jolene at the side of Anasui, rapidly dying, reaches for the disc, can't grab it. By the time she gets there, the bits that are sticking out have totally crumbled away. So instead, she gets to work sewing up Anasui's wounds, though he looks really fucking dead. And she's desperate enough to just start yelling into the night for help, yelling for guards to come, while Anasui, his last thoughts are blaming Foo Fighters for this whole situation.
Yep.
While their final remaining face dissolves into mist.
Anasui, he's able to move his hand just enough to point towards the dissolving face of Foo Fighters, and a little bit of his blood starts trickling slowly in a line towards Foo Fighters. And he's just thinking, like, hey, I'm dying. Your disc got popped out, and what's left of you is also dying. Come on, just my blood, when it reaches you, just hop on and take my body and, use it. And eventually the blood does touch Foo Fighters' face.
Quote, only you, the plankton, can do this.
Yes. And this is when Jolene turns around. She sees, like we've seen in many JoJo parts now, a wispy golden spirit levitating out of Anasui's body. And she's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh no, Anasui, are you dead?
But it's not him. That's Foo Fighters' golden ghost. And they come out and they eventually have a little talk. They have used Anasui's power to give themselves enough power to save Anasui's life at the cost of their own.
Yeah.
The disc is ejected. It's real fucked up. That is not going to play. It looks like it was eaten by acid.
Yeah, one side of it's pretty crinkled up. Like, there's still a lot of data on that thing, but, like, Jotaro's going to not remember something, or many
They're
things.
Gonna put that
perhaps
into Jotaro. He's gonna look at Jolene and be like, "Who the fuck are you?" And the Speedwagon Foundation's gonna be like, "Oh no, it didn't work." And she'll be like, "No, that's my dad. That's how he is. That's normal."
Yeah. Foo Fighters begins talking to Jolene about, hey, it was through my like power and conviction and courage that I was able to do this last act, and also I couldn't leave without saying goodbye to everybody.
And they talk about having the courage to embrace death in this moment, and how just the simple fact of dying proves that they were truly alive all along. And you know what? Yeah, Plankton doesn't have golden ghosts. You couldn't walk without seeing some,
Yeah. And yeah, Jolene is just like, whoa. We can still save you. We can just go get that disc back from Pucci and pop it in the Plankton, bada bing, bada boom. She's just like, okay, well, I have become enough of a person that you'll have an FF, but it'll be a different one. It's not going to be me.
Yeah. I'm an individual. I have a soul, and that's not what the stand-is can give you. You'll have a very thirsty buddy, you know, if that's what you want, go for it. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, real weather report is still on the radio.
Yep. And he's calling for Foo Fighters, going like, Foo Fighters, hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. And the sun has fully risen by now.
Yeah.
It was setting when they were on their fan boat adventure. This took all night.
Mm-hmm. The opposite of usual JoJo time. But yeah, as Foo Fighters' like spirit raises higher into the sky, she says goodbye, and like some grass gets blown across the camera, and when it wipes across the camera, she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. A better death than exploding and screaming.
Yeah. So this episode ends really with Jolene looking to the sky and saying Foo Fighters' name and leaving her other friend hanging and another one comatose and you know, whatever. It's cool.
Yeah. Foo Fighters was really cool. We got to mourn.
You can just pick up the radio and be like, not now. I'll tell you later. Just give me a minute. So thank you to the JoJo Wiki for giving me this little bit of information about a difference in the adaptation. Mm-hmm. They cut a scene of Dio talking to Pucci about seeing a Michael Jackson concert on TV.
No! We need that! I need that! I need to see that
know
voice!
What Dio had to say about Michael Jackson.
What?
This dude is also a stand user.
Just
the art of moonwalking.
Yeah, just any human that Dio is able to be impressed by, it's like, well, it couldn't be them. It's because they have a cool stand, and I like stands. Therefore,
Michael Jackson, 1987. All right.
Okay, yeah.
What that's when Bad came out? Yeah, he was talking about Michael Jackson. God dang.
Okay, yeah.
So that brings us, unfortunately, unfortunate in that we have to leave behind thoughts of Michael Jackson, to episode 23, Jailhouse Lock.
Yes.
And we're still getting some Dio. We're talking about Dio. We're hearing from Dio. Dio is reading the elements of his plan, narrating them from his own journal writing.
Yeah.
Step 1 to attaining heaven, you gotta have the world. Well, Pucci's fucked. I guess his plan is built on a shaky foundation. Step 2, you gotta have the ultimate bro.
Yes.
You gotta have a guy who cannot possibly be tempted from the path, who submits to the will of God over man. A real priestly type, perhaps. The next ingredient, you need at least 36 damned souls.
Yes. There's a great power within souls that have sinned. A whole lot.
The greater the sin, the greater the power. This is another callback. I want to remind people about the scene where Angelo gets arrowed at the very beginning of Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
The next step is 14 words.
Yep.
Dio. We gotta talk. I know you were asleep for a while, but somebody's gotta catch you up on some shit.
Don't say that, Dio. Come on.
He engraved the 14 words on the world so that he would never forget them.
Jesus Christ. Dio, we gotta talk.
The next ingredient into this plan is the courage to relinquish the world, that is the stand of the world, so it will absorb the damned souls and make something new, something we know to be the green baby. Mm-hmm. So the bone was not sports maxed in order to become an invisible zombie Dio, but to substitute for the world.
Yeah.
So now, Pucci, a black man in America, must recite the 14 words.
My God.
Oh, see, when Araki talks about the importance of editors in manga and theory of practice, this could also be a great... This is a missed opportunity to show how important editors are.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's also an ideal location for this mystical act, and he gives it in a latitude and longitude, and I looked up what those are, And I'm not going to say what it is because by the time we're finished with today's episodes, it will be mentioned as like a big surprise. I don't want to ruin it, but when it happened, just know I already knew that.
Yeah. Yes, he has to go to the last part of the ritual is to go to a very specific location. And, well, we see what has happened to Father Pucci.
Yeah.
His arm and hand is back, and he's got a new look.
Hell yes, he's got more hair veins.
Yes, he has.
His hair veins have made a 5-pointed star on his forehead.
Yes. He now has very long silver or gray eyelashes that kind of look similar to the weird eyelashes the green baby had.
Yes.
The back of his hair has multiple like curved lines shaved into it now. And his hair in the back is coming out in like 3 very long locks, which have now been fed through new holes in the back of the collar of his shirt.
That's a normal thing to do with hair, right?
Yes.
To put him through your shirt collar?
Yeah. And he also has now,
Yes, very important.
on the back of his neck, the Joestar birthmark.
Not down on the shoulder where our JoJos have it, but still visible up above his high priestly collar on his long priestly neck, his Jason priestly neck. So he's done. He's done with Green Dolphin State Prison. He's out. He's just counting down the days, waiting for his appointment with heaven upon the next new moon. And he leaves. Says, waves goodbye to some guards, and is just done with this place. And now we see the OP. And back from that, night has fallen yet again. It is another day. And Emporio has gone to the discipline wing where he previously said he dare not go.
Courage.
He's this two-parter, despite the title, this episode and the next one we're talking about are very much a two-parter, is really about Emporio coming out of his shell in a major way.
Yep.
So he shouts across the hallway to Jolene that, yes, Pucci has left the island. He didn't even pack a bag, but he's gonzo. And Jolene replies, I've been so bored, I gave myself a belly ring.
Yeah, she's got her design is slightly updated to reflect the belly ring.
It's, of course, a purple star. I think her hair buns are bigger.
Yeah, they do look bigger.
But Emporio has not been able to contact the Speedwagon Foundation to collect the disc. He has Jotaro's memory disc pressed upon his tummy. And it has healed itself. It has reformed into a full circular disc shape.
Yay.
And so really we get an update on, like, it seems a couple of days have passed. Long enough for one to give oneself a belly ring at the very least. Emporio tells Jolene that as the sole survivor of the isolated strict discipline cell in the maximum security disciplinary wing, that makes her top suspect in the deaths of 36 plus rotten sinners.
Yup.
Like, I can see the logic, you know? You definitely want to bring her in for questioning.
Oh, yeah.
And so she tells Emporio that it's time to bust the hell out of here.
And Emporio's like, oh, you want to, like, get out of your cell and go to my room? Why do you need to go to my room? She's like, no, like, out of the outside of the prison.
This is like the big, like, start of third act moment of Snowpiercer, where the guy's like, you know there's an outside of the train, right? You know that's a door you can go through, right? And Emporio's having a hard time picturing that.
Yes, Jolene wants to get out and finish the job and defeat Pucci because now that she has her dad's memory disc, she knows all about the ritual too.
Yes. And it is her job to do what Daddy can't, which is anything. Like anything.
Yeah.
While Emporio does not think that Jolene's really thought this through. Number one, no one has ever escaped from the Stone Ocean before. Number two, all of her friends are too injured or too depressed to help.
Yes.
Anazui, fucked up. Hermes, still super fucked up. Weather Report, sitting alone and crying all day.
Yes. I should have just kept it raining all the time. Damn it.
He can't stop thinking about those weird-ass toes, and now he'll never giggle at them again.
Oh, what a shame.
So Emporio ducks away because he hears footsteps. There is a lady and a stand walking down the hallway.
And this lady just walks right up to Jolene's cell and just straight up says like, "Hey, don't try to think about escaping because I'm here to like make sure that you don't." Like on Pucci's orders, like I'm gonna fuck you up if you try to do anything. Here's my stand, just letting you know ahead of time. We're skipping a bunch of steps here.
Yeah.
I guess we need to talk about both of them so they're right here.
Yeah, it's so fun to see someone just like walking side by side with their stand, though.
Yeah, I like her stand's design. It's got a really cool, weird head.
Yeah, do you want to start with that then?
Yeah.
So the stand is about to be named in the same scene. So it's Jailhouse Lock. This is a name that is not localized. Mm-hmm. Like the only difference between the original and localized name is they took the space out between jail and house.
Yes.
That's equivalent. That's video games. It doesn't make a difference no matter how much you pretend it does. Uh-huh. So this is a humanoid stand, arms and legs. But its skin is like a dress pattern. It is a very like pale beige that has sort of orangish dotted marks all around, outlining where you would cut and where you would put seams if you made clothes out of this thing, including the silhouettes of pockets, which is a very fun idea.
Yeah. And it has no hands. Its arms taper down to sharp points, like in Terminator 2, like the spike arms. Yeah,
or like flippers that are gonna get you.
Yeah.
And then from the neck up, well, I say neck, it doesn't have one. Its head is a giant brain that just sits upon its shoulders and collarbone.
Yeah, and it just has two big yellow orbs that I guess are supposed to be eyes, and it has a large. Like the fabric, the suit, its skin has grown up and kind of wrapped around the bottom half of its head. And I like it. He looks cool.
It looks really cool. I like Jailhouse Lock a lot. And its user is about to introduce herself as Mew Mew. Mm-hmm. Her proper name is Muccia Mueller, which is never given in the episode. She is named for Muccia Prada, the fashion designer and longtime CEO of Prada, youngest granddaughter of the founder of Prada. And her name that she goes by, Mew Mew, is based on the subsidiary brand Mew Mew.
And her look, this is a character whose design reflects a part of their stand's design, which I like a lot. Mm-hmm. She's wearing like a long sleeve sweater, I guess, and it is super wrinkly and bunched up in a way that mimics brain folds.
Yes.
And it's got two little danglies on the bottom of it that almost kind of look like, pull strings on like a hoodie or something, but they're little eyeballs.
Although the fact that they are real eyeballs and don't look like her stand's eyeballs does turn this brainfold thing into, she killed and skinned the flying spaghetti monster and is wearing it as a trophy.
It does look like that, yeah.
And she's wearing a sort of medium short purple skirt that has all sorts of words written on it upside down. So like if she looked down at her clothes, she could read it, but you have to sort of like turn your head and think about it for a second. And over that, holy stockings in the way that is very popular in JoJo ladies.
Oh, yeah.
How do you put these on without your toes going through every single hole on the way down?
Nightmare. It takes forever to put those on. And don't try to jump into those. You just rip them. And yeah, her hair is like
fucked up. It's fucked really up. Ugly.
It's really, yeah. She has blonde hair that goes down to the middle of her back, and it's just really ratty looking and stiff looking. Like someone describes it later.
Yes,
in
it
the
is
episode.
A plot point how fucked up her hair is.
Yeah, she's the lady with hair that's nothing but split ends. Yeah, her hair is awful, and then her face pretty normal. She has pretty normal for JoJo standards.
She just has really severe makeup.
Yeah, really severe makeup. And she drew like small oval eyebrows on top of her normal eyebrows.
Mew Mew here is here with a message. Do not try to escape. If you play nice and don't try to escape, we'll even give your dad his brain memories back. It's fine.
And then she does like a menacing villain pose, which is like a evil smile, while also putting an eyelash curler up onto one of her eyelashes.
So Mew Mew here, her English voice, you may recognize her as Riko Brzezinska in Attack on Titan, or Henrietta the Science Lady on 86.
Okay.
Whereas, this is another one where I was really spoiled for choice here, the Japanese voice of Mew Mew was, of course, Miss Marita Cruz in Gundam Unicorn. She is the current voice of both Lara Croft and Claire Redfield for the gamers in the house.
Hell yeah.
She is the official dub voice for Rachel Weisz, Anne Hathaway, and also the roles of Wonder Woman and Letty Ortiz Toretto.
Oh my god.
Hell yes.
Wow. Man, this lady's getting around.
In Fast 5, when Vince shouts, where's Letty, Dom, huh? Where's Letty? And it breaks my heart every time. The answer is menacing Jolene Cujo. So this is when Stone Free nearly punches Mew Mew in the fucking face.
Yeah, Jolene's just like, okay, well, I have my own ideas for what I'm going to do. Yeah, tries to punch her through the bars. Her hand, her fist stops short because the bars of her prison cell have warped and kind of like wrapped around her Stone Free's arm a little bit. And you can see overlaid on top of the bars, Jailhouse Lock.
Yes. Jailhouse Lock is in the bars now. Jailhouse Lock likes to be in things.
Mm-hmm.
Remember on our last guest episode where I talked about how Jolene's biggest obstacle isn't the stand users, it's the structure of the prison itself?
Mm-hmm.
What if the stand was that?
Whoa.
Think about it.
They're doing it.
They're doing it. So this is when Jolene's like, okay, I'll just punch you more. She winds up, throws a left this time, and the follow-through carries her momentum, so she falls out of bed in her bunk with Gwess, who is doing crosswords. Wait a minute.
What the? And so Jolene runs out of the cell and just looks around. It's just like, what? And Gwess, looking nervous, is just like, hey, are you okay? Everything all right? And Jolene is just asking more questions like, okay, how did I get here? What's happening? And then she looks down at her hand and sees writing on her hand that says, 1, grab a pen. She looks down at her hand again. 2, know that you can only retain up to 3 new things at a time. 3, defeat the stand user. Her name is Mew Mew.
So now begins Araki's tribute to Memento.
Yes.
And also Jolene being more high than anyone has ever been in human history.
Oh my god, yeah. Yep.
And also, like, this whole fight, this whole crosses between 2 episodes fight is one of the wildest experiments, I think, in bridging a super tense fight and a goofy comedy fight.
Yes, yep. It goes back and forth.
And very deftly, and with hard swings that I think it really pulls off. I like this one a lot.
Me too.
So yeah, she's got notes on her telling her to defeat Mew Mew, telling her to find Emporio. She recognizes her own handwriting, and so she has a lot of questions for the only person at hand, Gwess, who refuses to get involved. Again,
she's like hiding behind her crossword puzzle book, just like, please, I don't see you.
No. And eventually Gwess like reaches forward a hand and pulls out a note from Jolene's pocket that tells her she's been doing this for 2 whole days.
Yeah. There's a diagnosis from the medical ward saying that she has some sort of like trauma-induced amnesia. But it's like not affecting her life in a way where she can't live. She just can't remember anything.
The note, instead of saying the isolated strict discipline cell of the maximum security disciplinary wing, just says the whole. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The whole.
So she keeps finding more and more notes she left for herself on herself. Like, don't forget to wear panties. And then she checks. And wouldn't you know it, she did. She forgot.
Yep. Yeah. And Jolene asks Gwess, like, hey, I'm sorry, are you like this right now? Because I've just been asking the same questions nonstop for 2 days. And it's like, yeah. I don't know what to do about it.
So she asks about who this Mew Mew is, and Gwess is like, You can come up with new questions. That's nice. She's like someone on the floor above, don't know much about her, but her hair is just absolute rat's ass, just real bad. And anyway, the woman's trash.
Yeah.
So now that Jolene has learned how to identify Mew Mew, she's forgotten how she got here and what she was doing.
Yeah. And it's like everything up to after Emporio left, she can remember. It's just any new information cannot be retained. So she can't remember that there was a stand attack.
Anytime she learns a fourth thing, she forgets one of her things since meeting Emporio. It just falls out of her head.
And visually, the show portrays these things that she's forgetting or can't remember anymore by having them become really like fuzzy and hazy before they like break up into little particles.
So she finds Mew Mew because like Gwess is like, oh yeah, you would have seen her for yourself if you were, looking out the gate she just walked by. So Jolene goes out and says, hey, I'm looking for you. I don't know why I'm looking for you.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Why am I in the female ward again? Who's Mew Mew? Oh, fuck.
And so Mew Mew's like, oh, you just left your cell because you were going to get lunch. And Jolene says, yeah, probably.
Yep.
So now we've hit this middle of the episode. We get a stone-free title card and go back to Hermes lying in bed, thinking back to when Emporio came to visit recently and told her about all the recent events. Thinks about her best friend, one of, the three musketeers of the ward dying. And so she goes up to the window, she gets a glass of water, and she literally pours one out for Foo Fighters. In a scene that shouldn't be surprising at this point. Anime original.
Oh, yep. It's a good scene.
Whenever people have like emotional grieving that's beyond just screaming someone's name,
Yes.
that's an anime original scene.
Usually, yeah. And they're all good additions. While she pours one out for Foo Fighters, she swears that she and everyone else will avenge her death.
If Hermes was awake, if Hermes was like in the mix, she'd be the perfect ally right now. Because if Jolene had two brains, she could hold six memories.
Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not how this goes.
No.
But just imagine.
Yeah. So Jolene is trying to get lunch. She can't get lunch because she doesn't have her meal ticket. So she is shooed away, and Jolene's just like, fuck, did I forget it in my cell? I better write that down on my body or like on a note that like, hey, don't forget your meal ticket.
And when she writes that down, she finds herself in her cell wondering what she's doing there and why and where Emporio went.
But hey, there's lunch on the table. Time to eat.
But that was Gwess's lunch.
Yeah.
So Gwess is like trying to take care of her. She's a little pissed off that someone ate her cheesy penne. But in order to take care of her, is like, hey, you're getting really overwhelmed with new shit out of the cell. You just eat mine. I will take your meal ticket. In fact, I put it in your pocket for you, so let's just trade.
Yeah.
Also, please wrote down, I gave Gwess my meal ticket. I should not punch her face off.
Yeah. And so, yeah, her body is just getting covered with more and more writing. And when she does that, she's just like, wait a minute, stand user? Huh.
Right.
Yeah, I had to
I'm
go
under
find...
stand attack.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I wanted to go see Emporio, too. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I wanted to escape.
So suddenly she's back at the cafeteria table eating yet another serving of penne. It's lunchtime, but she's not hungry for some reason. Doesn't know why. So she'll just eat the good stuff. Leave the hot dog.
Yeah.
And Mew Mew sits down across her. And as she sits, you can see that one of the bits of writing on that skirt is delicious right on the butt.
Oh, yeah.
In case she forgets too, I guess.
I would say this is extremely era appropriate, but it's what, 2010? So I think it's a couple years beyond when delicious was a big thing to have on your ass.
Well, you gotta remember, we're being written in like 02, 03 still.
Oh, that's true. That is pretty... that would be pretty common, perhaps, yeah.
So she sits down, and Jolene does not know who this lady is that seems to know her.
Yeah.
And Mew Mew is like, oh, wow, I stepped in a roach on the way here. That sucks. Hey, let me take off my shoe and cram it and the squished roach in your food. And before Jolene has time to react, she also squirts in ketchup and mustard and salad dressing. That's right, 3 new things. So Jolene has forgotten the roach and just eats the roachy food.
Yeah, yep. And Jolene's just like, man, you look familiar. Do I know you? And before anything else can happen, Mew Mew pushes over a cup of like coffee or whatever, and it's just like, oh no, it got all over you. I gotta clean you up. And Jolene, who's just like dumbfounded and doesn't know what's happening anymore, just sits there as Mew Mew just wipes all of the writing off of her body.
The only note that she doesn't get to is note number 2, which is you can only remember 3 things at a time. If you learn a 4th thing, you forget 1.
Yeah. Mew Mew starts like monologuing, thinking to herself that like, man, the best part of this power is that like it doesn't kill anybody or anything, but it just like over a long period of time slowly erodes any will you have to do anything. It's like being paralyzed. So like my job here is done. And then she takes like the note that Jolene had in her pocket too and just walks away while tearing it up into little pieces and just throwing it everywhere.
So now Jolene is left even more disoriented than we've ever seen her, and that's saying something in this episode. And Stone Free takes like independent action.
Yeah.
Stone Free is here to save the day and laces through her skin writing which reads, "Go see Emporio."
Yeah.
And something that I think is interesting is, especially in comparison when she reads the note, is that all of Jolene's notes to herself are in Japanese. But all the other writing, including, you know, the note from her pocket, is in English because she is in Florida.
Yeah.
Just by having that juxtaposition, it makes me think it is more a character thing than a benefit to the original Japanese literate audience, right? Jolene's primary language, just despite being an American brat, is Japanese somehow. Like maybe she's closer to her dad than I'm giving her credit for.
Maybe there's another trip to Japan when she was younger and she learned a lot of Japanese in that time.
It's how she takes notes so her teachers can't get her in trouble. They don't know what she's writing.
And so Jolene, like, holding her hand up high with this note written in thread on her hand, like, there is, like, holy light beaming off of it. Like, it's her lifeline that will get her through all of this. And she thinks, okay, I can save room for one more note. I can 86 the rest.
Yeah. Like, it turns out what we now realize is that Mew Mew signed her own death warrant. Like, all of these notes were overwhelming Jolene's system and holding her back. Without them, with the 2 most important things locked in and one floating third thing, ready to use as the situation arises, she's actually much more dangerous and much more capable.
Yeah.
You don't got to wear panties if you don't want to. You didn't forget, you chose. Trust yourself.
I don't need them today. And so we hard cut
back in Emporio's secret room.
Yeah, we hard cut from that to Emporio being electrocuted alive, and just being roasted, falling to the ground, steaming, smoke billowing off his body. He's like, "Oh no, I spilled my water. I'm being electrocuted. I have to pull the plug before I die." Because, like, there's an outlet right in front of the little opening in the wall that lets him leave his secret room. And yes, there's water all over it and the plug, and yeah, he can't get near it without zapping himself.
And this is illustrated is basically a 4-fact feedback loop. So by the time he is motivated to go forward and leave, he has forgotten that it will hurt him. So he has, for days, been burning himself with electrical burns.
Yeah.
And I love the way that, like, the direction of it makes that very, very clear. Like, he says the 4 things, they come up in like full screen black text on a white background, factual statements. And then when he gets to the 4th one, the first one is erased. And so he goes forward and hurts himself. And the thing that is plugged in, that is shorting, that is burning him, is a computer. And that computer has a profile of Mew Mew pulled up. and some longer like post-it notes pinned to it. But this information he's found is of vital importance to Jolene and her mission. End of the episode.
Yep. And so that takes us to episode 24, Jailbreak.
With an ellipsis. Ah, yes.
Jailbreak.
So our recap here is Pucci's baggage-free exit, a little bit of the mechanism of Jailhouse Lock, and yes, Emporio's dire situation. Mm-hmm. And when we meet Jolene, she's in the rec lounge watching a movie, and she keeps pausing the movie and trying to figure out who is this man? Why is he walking in this room? Because it's impossible to watch a movie and follow it when you only can hold 3 facts in your head.
And there's like a dozen other women trying to watch the movie too. And it's just like, what the fuck is happening with you? Someone take the remote from her. I hate this.
So this is, of course, how one of the chapters of the manga started. And the first page, the cover page, is this full page illustration of the moment where all of the inmates are pointing at Jolene like, get the fuck out of here. And in the manga, it was not a generic movie. It was specifically From Hell, the loose adaptation of the Alan Moore Jack the Ripper book. Mm-hmm. And in that page, it's not like up on the screen is drawn, I don't think, a frame of the movie. It's the poster adapted into a still of the movie. It's Johnny Depp and Heather Graham's faces exactly like the poster, but with a street behind them instead of a black void and, credits and stuff. It's very funny.
Also, another difference. Yeah, there's another part where she stumbles into this room and sees The Sixth Sense playing on the screen, and she goes, hey, I know this movie. I saw it 1,000 times when I was a kid. Bruce Willis is actually dead, and he's a ghost. That's how it ends. And everyone's just like, what the fuck? Come on!
They've had 13 years to watch this movie.
Some of them have been in prison a long time, and this movie just came in.
Their movie selection is much less contemporary than their nonfiction.
Yeah. So Jolene goes, okay, fine, I'll stop watching the movie. And she goes to sit down on a couch and read some comics. And the comic she's reading is in the exact same style as the Oingo Boingo comics. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like maybe Boingo is a successful comics author. So she reads her comic book out loud with all the voices.
Yes.
And it's about a prisoner being shown his cell in prison and the spiders that live there and the roles of the spiders in the social hierarchy of the prison. And by the time she gets to the 4th panel, of course, she's totally lost the plot and doesn't understand it.
Yeah. And we see a shot of her on the couch going like, what the fuck? And she's sitting next to another woman also reading comics who is laughing. So you see this woman one time previously when Jolene first sits down, but you can only see her barely. But she's a normal proportion woman, just vibrating a little bit.
Except,
well, no, it's in this second shot, this woman head is the size of all of Jolene, basically.
Yeah,
she's fucked up looking. What's happening to her?
She has the world's biggest head. She looks like a parade float.
Yeah, and it's like when you look at that previous shot when Jolene sits down and you can barely see this woman, her head is normal size there.
And she's not like grotesque or in any of the other ways that people in Stone Ocean are. Her head's just gigantic.
I really think it's just an animation mistake. But man, her head is big. Huge.
Right. Emporio. I see my hand as I turn the pages. Oh, right. I got to find Emporio. That's what I'm doing here.
Right.
So she's back in the hallways going to that all-important staircase off of which lies the ghost of the old music room. And she sees Mew Mew, who she does not recognize, of course. Mm-hmm. And Mew Mew gives her a look and is like, wait a minute. She's got something woven into her hand there. And Jolene looks down at her own hand and sees that she did give herself a 3rd note, which says to immediately punch anyone who looks at her left hand.
Yes. So she goes in for a huge punch with Stone free, but Mew Mew has already caught on to this, and she's just booking it down the hallway.
And so they're on a foot chase, and that foot chase brings us into the final OP of the middle chunk, the September 2020 episode drop. And I'm surprised that there are no sound effects.
Yeah, no
because there
sound
were in
effects.
episode 12. I expected them in episode 24.
Yeah.
Anyhow, back in that foot chase. It continues until Jolene notices a sign on the wall, noting it as hallway D14 or whatever. Which is as a fourth memory, pushes one out, and she's like, wait, what was I running about? What?
Yeah.
And that's when she's spotted by some guards with shotguns.
Yeah.
And so she ducks behind a support pillar and forgets one of them. She can only keep 3 armed guards in her mind, no matter how many there are.
So she's like at the corner of like the hallway intersection here, hiding behind a little beam, and she doesn't know why these guards are after her, what the fuck is going on. All the guards are like cocking their shotguns as they slowly approach, and when they approach the corner, she's gone.
Because she unwound her entire body
Yeah.
to cling in the manner of a pillar man's brain
Yeah.
to the back of one of these guards. And then as she's starting to pull herself together, she looks at some of the string, which is again woven into her hand, telling her to go find Emporio.
Yes.
So back at Emporio, he's so fucked up.
He boils all over his body. He is messed up. And he's looking at his hand. He has writing in his body too. And he's just saying, go find Jolene, like print it out and all that. And he's like, oh yeah, the mugshot of Mew Mew. I gotta tell her that she's a guard at the prison and not a prisoner.
You know how guards get mugshots too?
Yeah.
They don't want the prisoners getting all the fun.
Yeah.
So Jolene is trying to book it when she remembers she's trying to book it to that room.
And we see Mew Mew like hiding around the corner again, spying on Jolene. And Mew Mew's in her prison guard outfit now.
Yes, yes.
A pink and purple prison guard uniform. Still has the ratty nasty hair though.
And the writing all on the skirt.
Oh yeah.
And she is like narrating to herself, making it explicit that like Jolene can't count past 3, no matter how many guards there are. She'll only defend herself against the first 3, and the rest have got clear shot on her. My job is so fucking easy. And so Jolene manages to burst into the secret room, which does 2 things. Number 1, it breaks Emporio's pain cycle. Congratulations, hooray.
Yay.
Number 2, it reveals the location of the secret room to Mew Mew, because her job as the stand-using guard is to make sure that stand users don't escape. And so if there is a weird stand-using feral child in here, that's also something she needs to be aware of professionally.
Yep. So now that Jolene's here, it's like, wait, Jolene, why are you here? Oh yeah, why am I here? What's wrong with you, Emporio? Are you okay? What are you doing? What am I doing? And then they just start shouting, why at each other at the same time.
It's a very funny episode.
Yeah, it's good.
So now they have to try to get a printer to work while they're so fucking high. The hardest mountain anyone's ever climbed. Braver than a U.S. Marine. Emporio's not sure what he needs to print. He just knows he needs to print something so much. It's so important. Which is when Mew Mew leans in through that crack in the wall, figures out what's going on better than the people doing it can, and fires 3 shots at Jolene, who, of course, grabs all the bullets out of midair with a cat's cradle, because that's so fucking cool. She's been doing bullets almost as long as she's had a stand. You have to do something better than bullets to try and trick her.
So Mew Mew thinks, man, I knew bullets were going to be completely useless against something like Jolene. It's a good thing I shot 4 bullets.
Oh, that's right. The fourth one went through. What did it go through? Well, Emporio and the computer monitor.
No. And this is when Mew Mew deduces, like, hey, okay, Whitesnake was telling me that there's somebody, like, feeding information to Jolene and the others and, like, making all these plans and doing a bunch of research, and he had no idea who it was. Guess it's that kid I just I just plugged. So, all right, hell yeah.
So the new plan, like that last step, proved to Mew Mew that she was correct. Jolene can stop a maximum of 3 bullets. So as she reloads and fires an entire clip of wanted ass James McAvoy curvy bullets at Jolene, she is surely to be dead. However, Stone Free blocks all of them somehow, because Jolene has left herself a new and final third message: Avenge Emporio.
Yes.
Which overrides her limits on counting.
Doesn't she explain that she's able to see the rest of the bullets because she sees her reflection in Emporio's blood? I think that's what it is.
And speaking of blood, she didn't write in a Sharpie on her hand this one. No, she carved the words into her flesh: Avenge Emporio.
Yes. And so Mew Mew just books it out of the room, but she's still pursued by Jolene because she has thread coming out through the secret room and just wrapping around like an ammo holster on Mew Mew's belt or something.
Yeah. So Emporio, he was shot through the shoulder. He's gonna be okay. He thinks that he's gonna make it as long as we're all very cautious and we just chill.
Yeah.
We've been beat. We'll just hole up in our little secret room and hope that somebody comes to rescue us. That is the Emporio way. And Jolene says, hey, little man, sometimes in life, you gotta take risks. So she jumps out of the room in pursuit of Jailhouse Lock. Mid-episode title card, Jailhouse Lock.
Yep. So Emporio is lying on the floor in a pool of his own blood. And he goes, I'm hurt. How did this happen? And he remembers what Jolene was saying about having to do risky things. And he's just like, I still don't know what I have to do, but I know it's really important. This sucks so bad. All right, I have to print something out.
Yeah, I love that of Emporio's remaining 3 thoughts. One of them is, you gotta take risks sometimes.
Yeah.
That is a full 1/3 of his personality now.
Yeah. And he's just like, okay, I really have to think super hard about what I need to print. One, I don't even have a printer in here, so I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Sometimes you gotta print something so bad, even though you've been shot, and that's just life in corporate America.
Yeah. And this is when Emporio looks at one of the sticky notes on the side of his computer monitor and makes some sort of revelation that we'll learn about later. As Jolene, leaping out of the secret room, throws a punch with Stone Free and smashes one of Jailhouse...
Another great like Jolene emergence
bursting,
pose, though. Yes.
Yeah.
Because she is all like closed up and tense while Stone Free is behind her, wide open. And half the frame is Mew Mew looking terrified.
Yes. And so, yes, one of Jailhouse Lock's arms gets smashed down to the ground, which, of course, brings Mew Mew down to the floor. And Jolene just busts out a ton of thread and wraps it around Mew Mew's like head and neck and just pulls her down to the floor.
Just like bridging backwards, collapsing down. And so Mew Mew uses her institutional power to radio for backup. And Jolene sees some guards yelling and sees them opening a gate to get her, forgets she has grabbed Mew Mew, and when she looks down, she sees empty loops where something used to be.
Yeah, and then like Wile E. Coyote style, there's a beat where it's still in the form of Mew Mew before it just falls limp to the ground.
And all of a sudden, her face is bloody for some reason. And
Weird.
This is what tells her, oh right, Mew Mew is standing in front of me and her stand punched me in the face.
Yeah. Jolene on the floor now, her hands and arms getting smashed by Jailhouse Lock so she can't throw any more punches. And Jolene's already beginning to forget about Mew Mew again, and so Mew Mew is practically invisible. She sees 3 guards when there are actually about 30 guards in this room currently.
Well, you see 10 because it's like a T-junction. They can only fit so many bodies in here.
Yeah.
So suddenly, Emporio appears, and they remember each other. That's nice. That's nice.
Yay.
And something else Emporio manages to remember is that Jolene is the printer he's been looking for. You see, he spent all this time while they've been exchanging blows out in the stairwell, writing down the information in binary code. And so Stone Free can slide strings along this, whereas like 1 is over, 0 is under, recalling, of course, the way that binary language dates back to like programming textile mills. Think about it. And that resolves into an image. He managed to use binary to make a monochrome image of Mew Mew's face. And this is the thing he had to get to Jolene so that she will always know and fail to forget the face of her enemy.
Yes. And Jolene just like points towards Mew Mew. It's like, you're my enemy? I think you're my enemy. And Mew Mew's just like, pretty sure she can't see me right now. Well, she's probably bullshitting.
And Jolene says, that means you're my enemy. And so out come the 1,000 punches.
Oh, man. The animation for the punch rush in this one is so like scratchy looking. It looks really cool. Tons of sketchy lines everywhere. And Mew Mew gets completely flattened into the ground.
Like literally into the ground. The final blow, Mew Mew is already got her head against the concrete floor, and then another punch comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
It's great. And a guard who can't see stands, of course, just shouts, "Holy shit, what am I seeing?"
Oh, just your boss getting turned inside out by an invisible ghost. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
And so Jolene picks up Mew Mew by the head. And it's just like, okay, I have forced her to deactivate Jailhouse Lock on us. We can finally remember things. And
you still see Jailhouse Lock is like in the prison walls right behind them. But like Jolene and Emporio's full minds have been returned to them. And because they are so clever, they start talking about their escape plans in front of, these 30 guards. While holding their chief hostage.
And this is when Jolene holds up her hand and drops 3 bullets. 1, 2, 3. And all of the guards just go, wait, where'd she go? Because she is forcing Jailhouse Lock into using its powers on all of the guards. And so they're just able to freely walk out of the hallway. And
as they excuse me, pardon me, bump their way up the stairs and around the corner, every single guard in the entire island is here. And Emporio has decided he would like to leave this island for the first time in his entire life.
Yeah. One, this place fucking sucks. I hate being here. And 2, man, when 1/3 of my entire being is just like, I gotta take risks maybe, gives you a new perspective.
Now, as they go through, there is this soaring, triumphant music. And I know, I'm supposed to think that, Mew Mew is, down with the program of being a human shield and is turned Jailhouse Lock against all the guards who would open fire in order to preserve her life.
Yeah.
But what it feels like is Jailhouse Lock wasn't really such a bad guy himself and is helping these crazy kids have one last adventure before graduation.
Yeah. And so they take a detour to the medical wing to bust their other friends out.
Emporio reveals he has Jolene's dad's brain in his pants, which is a little weird. I mean, pressed against his stomach was one thing, but you're going below the waistband, little man. And Hermes is awake. She seems fine. She could have participated if she wanted to.
And Hermes is just like, okay, I heard a lot of ruckus and combat noises, so I was 100% sure that was you down the hallway fucking shit up.
And she's decided, yes, I will also break out of prison with my friends. I'm also coming, but are you sure? Are you sure? And Jolene says, quote, I've never been more resolved than this.
Yeah.
Last week, you jumped headfirst down a stairwell to save 8 seconds.
Again, just the real speedrunner's mentality.
So the three of them, Jolene, Hermes, and Emporio, look out the window into the sunshine, dazzling them in the medical wing as the camera pushes through that glare all the way across the bridge to the mainland, to freedom, the highs and lows of Palm Beach, Florida.
And it is now nighttime, and the camera is landing on the Lucky L supermarket.
Yes. Speaking of the mainland, yeah. And Pucci is there having a real bad time on a park bench in the parking lot here.
He's got a hat now, which makes him look way cooler.
He's got a cowboy hat.
He's a cowboy
has
priest.
A holy cowboy hat.
It honestly, he looks really fucking cool with the cowboy hat on, I think.
So this lady walks out with a very full paper bag of groceries, and she nearly trips on an uneven part of the parking lot. And Pucci steps out and grabs her eggs, stops them from breaking on the pavement below. Whew, hate it when that happens. Which is when purple electricity arcs from his fingertips and winds her watch really, really fast. And this frightens him. He's frightened of this new power he does not understand, and he pulls back.
And this woman's fingernails on the hand with the watch start growing rapidly.
Yes. And so as he leaves, she screams and drops her bag because her eggs have formed into half chick, half yolk monstrosities.
Yes.
Just gross.
Very gross. Somehow she bought a bunch of fertilized eggs.
It's Florida, man. You don't know what those chickens are doing.
Yeah.
So Pucci says to himself, "My stand. I haven't the vaguest idea what it is, but it's no longer a white snake."
He's going through it right now. He feels like garbage. He feels like whatever he's got going inside with this new stand that's in him is out of his control, and it's doing just whatever the fuck it wants. But also, it's feeding him some type of hope. He kind of liking this.
So he sets his itinerary. The new moon is in 6 days, and the location of these coordinates is, of course, Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
Weather Report is going to be so fucking bummed that he missed out. He wants to go. Fuck that. I want to go.
I want to, yeah.
I want to
Come
go.
on.
I've always wanted to go to Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral.
Come on.
Come on. And that's the end of the episode. See you in 3 months. Oh, wait, we don't do that shit. That's why we had a big break in the middle.
Yay. Yeah, the end of today's 3 episodes. I really like the Jailhouse Lock fight. I think that's a really fun, interesting format to have. A better death for Foo Fighters this time around.
As you'll recall, I mean, I just edited this like yesterday or the day before, so my words are fresh in my own mind.
Yes.
Like my 2 biggest complaints were that her discovery went undiscovered. Not true. Everyone knows everything she knew.
Yep.
And also, she was the one to tell them in the end. They didn't get it from another route.
Yeah.
And 2, that they died at the hands of someone who denied their self-conception and their like full personhood.
Yeah.
And instead, they died proving that to a different person who would deny them that.
Yeah. Honestly, we better be real fucking grateful next time we see him. It's just like, hey, did you know who kept you from eating shit and you can continue to be a weirdo at me and try to marry me nonstop? Guess what? It was a person that you said fucking sucked. So eat shit. I'm going to remind you of this every day until you die. Fuck you. Which might be very soon. Who knows?
It will be a very positive, mutually supportive marriage, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a relationship built on "told you so." I told you she was fucking cool. Look.
If only we could all be so lucky. And again, this is not originally written with the idea that there would be breaks, sizable hiatuses at this point. But if it were, I'd kind of believe it, because this is very much like, okay, the plan for the end game has been laid out. There's a time and a place. We're leaving the setting of the first 2/3 behind to go and finally travel and move the thing that nearly every JoJo part is really about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is certainly way better than the first third of the show. Like, feels like an actual, climax to something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also, you know what? I also am glad that Stone Ocean does lay out what Dio's actual plan was, because for a while it just feels like I'm just gonna do whatever and maybe something cool will happen. No, there was like it is actually spelled out. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels less random now.
And it's got to be in Dio's own words. You can't have all these Dio cameos and have anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would have accepted like Pucci thinking back to seeing them through Jotaro's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been fun. Get a little Jotaro voice talking. Actually, no, I don't want to hear Jotaro say 14 words.
No.
I absolutely don't want that.
No. We don't need that. Oh, man.
He's just a misogynist. That's it. It's just...
Yeah, that's as bad as he could get, please. Thank you. Now, old man Joseph, in his old age and his brain slowly becoming more and more filled with holes, maybe, old man Joseph getting more racist in his old age, that can happen.
Hey, who's your best friend growing up, and that other guy that you always hung out with? Yeah. Okay. It's not fair to say that Caesar was all about Il Duce, but he never said a word against him either. Okay,
he did.
All right.
Yeah. Just saying, the Joestar family has some things to answer for. Perhaps
there's some skeletons in that closet. All right.
Yeah.
I've never met a real estate billionaire who didn't have some questionable opinions.
Really, I don't think you get to that spot without having those questionable opinions. It seems like it's just part of the territory, I think.
Oh boy. So we're gonna have some conversations like this one, I'm sure, next week with a very special guest. And the episode after that will be on the following 2 episodes, the first pair of episodes in the final December 1st, 2022 drop. Mm-hmm. Bohemian Rhapsody 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. These next 2 are going to be really interesting because there is a core concept to that 2-parter that is basically, hey, what if I had a story idea that is unpublishable, unanimatable because it violates so many copyright laws?
The puzzle of how to visually depict forgetting 1/3 of your brain constantly is also a bit of a puzzle. But yeah, that's a different kettle of fish entirely.
Yeah. There's more legal issues with this one than anything. But I'm very interested to see this one pan out.
But again, that is in 2 episodes' time. And next time you hear our voices, there will be a 3rd voice joining it. Strap in. It's going to be a good one, folks.
I just got one thing to plug at the end here, and that's just, hey, by the time you're listening to this episode, the final episode of our Final Fantasy VII Remake Let's Play will be out. It will be complete. So if you've been waiting for it to be completely done or something, now's your chance. Go check it out.
Go watch Final Fantasy. In fact, as soon as we hang up on recording this, we're going to talk about one of those final videos.
Yeah,
we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to see Chadley one more time.
Chadley? How would Whitesnake say Chadley?
Chadley. Bring me my bones, Chadley. No, not that one. The butt one. That's right. I have a different ritual for that one.
To be continued. No, stop it.
Goodbye. Fetch me my slippers, Chadley.